freedom. We want the power for all people to determine our own destinies. We want justice. We want an immediate and total end to all cultural and political regression of the people by the vicious pig power structure and their mad dog lackeys, the police, courts, and military. We want the end of all police and military violence against the people all over the world right now. We want a free world economy based on the free exchange of energy and materials and the end of money. We want free access to all information, media, and to all technology for all the people. We want a free educational system utilizing the best procedures and machinery our modern technology can produce that will teach each man, woman, and child on earth exactly what each needs to know to survive and grow into his or her full human potential. Number 6. To free all structures from corporate rule and turn the buildings over to the people at once. We want free time and space for all humans. Dissolve all unnatural boundaries. We want the freedom of all prisoners held in federal, state, county, or city jails and prisons, since the so-called legal system in America makes it impossible for any man to obtain a fair and impartial trial by a jury of his peers. We want the freedom of all people who are held against their will in the conscripted armies of the oppressors throughout the world. We want free land, free food, free shelter, free clothing, free music, free medical care, free education, free media, everything free for everybody. So that's John Sinclair. He's a poet. He's a radical of the 60s and 70s. Newton had actually advised some righteous white brothers to go form their own White Panther Party. And that's exactly what they did. So this is a far-left, anti-racist white American political collective founded in 1968 by Plamondon, Lenny Sinclair, and John Sinclair. So it does say it's a white American political objective. I feel like they would accept black folks in it. I only know what Wikipedia is telling me. And Wikipedia is telling me that they were very much the counterculture and that they were not a white supremacist group. Actually, quite the contrary is what John Sinclair would say. The party worked with many ethnic minority rights groups in the Rainbow Coalition, Jesse Jackson's coalition, which, what a fucking America. Could you imagine if the Rainbow Coalition had actually ran this country? They went to jail for, I don't know, having a joint. He passed 2 joints to some cop, and then he went to jail, I think, for 10 fucking years, John Sinclair. And he was in some band, MC5, and they managed it for a while. And they defined the White Panthers, I guess, I don't know what the band has to do with that. But it's the same sentence in Wikipedia, so that's why I combine those ideas. Anyways, fighting for a clean planet and the freeing of political prisoners. Right? Clean planet, free the political prisoners like Mumia Abu-Jamal, or did Linear Peltier, Obama didn't fucking pardon these guys? Fuck. Rock and roll, dope, sex in the streets, and the abolishing of capitalism. That's something else that they had advocated. So that's the White Panthers, everybody. U.S. representative out of Boulder, Colorado, the Centennial State, U.S. Representative Jared Polis. So Jared Polis has jumped into the Democratic primary for governor of Colorado. And I think immediately he takes first place. This is amazing. This is exciting. This is a progressive Democrat who basically just shows, he says how far left. I don't like the leaf fly. They were saying some stupid shit, okay? But he's pro-legalization of marijuana, so you know he's going to protect the industry. So that's very important. He is in favor of 100% renewable energy by 2040, so he's an environmentalist. He's ensuring parents can access full daycare, day preschool or kindergarten for children age 3 or older for free, and finally encouraging companies. Still have the embattled detective Robert Dodd, who's at large. He has been exiled. He has been kicked to the Gulf of Mexico, right, in Alvin, Texas. They said, don't you come back now. You hear? So Robert Dodd is supposed to come back July 17th. Remember that date, okay? July 17th. This is what Tracy Hardman is reporting. So is it going to happen? Is it going to, July 17th? I could have swore I heard an earlier date, but I could be wrong. So, yeah, this guy, he had fucking dead, a 17-year-old, a young woman's dead clothes in his private storage, and he's a cop, so that makes it even more fucked up. So, yeah, he's got 2 counts of official misconduct and abuse of a public public records. So he's got 3 misdemeanors. Hart has a pending investigation. He mishandled several DUI cases. So already Aaron Hart was a fucking bully. That's what he's being accused of, going above and beyond what his legal authority was. And then you have here Brody Koch. He says he has been placed on administrative leave stemming from an allegation concerning misuse of force during an arrest. Misuse of force. That's what the cops do. That's their fucking job, right? Just be violent. Hey, how are you doing? I'm a cop. I'm going to be violent. Do as the fuck as I say. What's going on here? No, I'm the boss. What's up? Okay, no, I don't know who I believe, but you're just not going to disrespect me. That's pretty much what I came here to tell you guys. So if y'all don't, shut the fuck up, then we're going to just basically throw both of you out. Apparently there's a huge problem right now with people stealing cars. So News 13, Channel 13, News and Channel 13, ABC, KRDO. Garcia's mom, Margarita, posted about her son's missing car on a local Facebook page, asking people to keep an eye about it, and I've heard people getting their vehicles back, so I said, let's share that to the people. She said the car was found about 8 miles away, but it was completely dismantled. The motor, the engine, the seats, the console, the tires, and the bumper, all of it was gone. And police said that this is common. Most of our property crime in general is tied with the drug addiction or the drug epidemic that's going on. It's about the most general thing we can tie it to right now. Brandon Bovace, they got an 80% recovery rate. 80%, but prevention is key. 80%. Saying don't leave any valuables inside of it. Make sure you lock it. That's the biggest fucking thing they're saying. Lock your fucking doors like shit. It's like obvious, right? Someone's about to punch you in the face. Don't you put your hands up to stop them? So, that's just how life is. The recall election, that's what that, this is the 6th administrative leave. I have mixed feelings about it because a part of me thinks that if you punish the cop, you have these routine administrative leaves, so therefore if a complaint comes in, they take that shit serious, they investigate it, make it look like they investigate it, reinstate it, and say it was all cool, it's all gravy, settled that fucking situation somehow. So they still have, till January 26th of this month? So it's right around the corner, like 12 fucking days. 11 days. Yeah, John Hickenlooper, he's this governor, a Democratic governor he's not a lame duck, but this is his last year. He's still getting shit done. He's still, passing laws. And he just passed a controversial measure. It had bipartisan consensus. But the Denver Post is saying this shit's controversial. So that must mean it's controversial. So local law enforcement agencies across Colorado received about $8 million in proceeds from property and money seizures over the past 2 years in a practice that police chiefs and sheriffs say could be curtailed by a new state law. So good deal. Now the war on drugs allowed the cops to go around bullying, anybody found with any kind of drug, and they would steal everything from them. Not just the drug, but the vehicle, the house, the whole person's life, throw them in jail, ruin them. And they made $8 million on this in the last 2 years. House Bill 1313, and you can just click on it and read it yourself, which I'm sure you will. It was strongly opposed by law enforcement because of a provision prohibiting local agencies from receiving forfeiture proceeds from the federal government in cases where property and money seized is less than $50,000. Police chiefs and sheriffs say the law will cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars each year from federal agencies that were being used for crime fighting. This was money for the feds. Don't they get that? This is a good fucking law. Basically, if you have less than $50,000 worth of property, you can't be robbed. You can't take a person's fucking house. You can't take a person's fucking car. And fuck you. For what? For, it should be, all of it should be decriminalized at the very least. Legalized at the very most. Have a red light district. Otero County Sheriff only got $81. That's all they got out of the federal proceeds. $9 million of net forfeiture proceeds were gathered by federal authorities in Colorado. $9 million. The feds collected $9 million. And they said it went to the Weld County Drug Task Force, like 378,000 or so, according to the U.S. Department of Justice data, depending on. Northern Colorado Drug Task Force received 373,000. The West Metropolitan Drug Task Force got 367,000, and Mesa County Sheriff's Office got 297. So only $3 million is what they're saying went to local law enforcement. So the feds stole all this money, and then they only give $3 million. They only give a third of it back. So where did the rest of it go? Rocky Ford Police Department, they got $90, 90 whole bucks. That's less than $100, which is, I mean, they couldn't pay rent, right? Not even close to being able to pay rent. Not even close. Not maybe some steaks, right? Maybe go out to eat at Applebee's, right? Go to some fancy shindig like Applebee's. Now, of that $5.06 million, the greatest amount, $1.04 million, went to the Denver Police Department, according to the U.S. Department of Justice. Mesa County Sheriff's Office received $778,000. West, this is in 2015. Half of it, $5 million, went to the law enforcement. So they're getting less. They got, it was $5 million in 2015. Now, 2016, it's only, what, like $3 trillion, 13. We are fighting in the Philippines now. Apparently, we've joined battle. And it takes losses in the besieged city. U.S. Special Forces have joined the battle to crush Islamist militants. So, therefore, the war on terror has come to the Philippines. This is the same fucking president that said all the drug dealers or all the drug users need to be killed. He said this was a good thing. He's like, I've only heard really nasty, negative things about it, but I also know, like, the Philippines was where we started our empire. So it's like a soft target, right? You want to make the Philippines seem like they're very draconian and fascist, and he seems like a straight-up gangster, to be honest with you. So Dirty Año or whatever, Duterte, Rodrigo Duterte, the turd of, I don't know, killing the fucking drugs. I mean, escalating the war on drugs. He could just. Colorado's congressional delegation okay after shooting. So there was that big, Capitol shooting that injured that David Duke guy, the David Duke without the baggage. They're playing a baseball game. They're having baseball practice. I can't believe that we actually still play that game. Rand Paul plays baseball. Rand Paul, is he a good baseball player? I mean, is the media there? How come I've never seen this shit? Why is the media not there?
What do you say, man?
Oh my God. Okay, this is horrible. The video players on media, all your all's fucking video players take fucking forever to load. It's absolute garbage. Okay, so I've clicked off your website because your goddamn media player was just too much for my laptop. So, jet service returns to the Pueblo airport. So we got fucking jet service now. Pueblo is on the fucking map. Pueblo's got jets. Mandatory overtime shifts. You must work overtime. So that's why a nurse just said, fuck you. I'm done with this shit. So some Colorado Mental Health Institute staff called it quits because they're being forced to work overtime. So that is fucking bullshit. She'd arrive at work June 5th for a 1:30 p.m. shift only to learn she wouldn't be going home at 11:30 p.m. She was told she would have to work until 7 a.m. with the requirement that she'd be back at work at 1:30 p.m. again. So, does that explain anything? I don't know. I wasn't listening to myself. But what we're saying is Peter Roper is pointing this shit out, right? So, this is CMHIP, the Colorado Mental Health Institute. So if you know any crazy people, that's where you'd probably want to send them. I mean, they're working overtime, so that's how hard of workers they are. Or maybe you don't. That's actually a really strong fucking protest. Basically, it's a big fuck you, I just don't want to work. I'm not working. Nah, I quit. I'm not working here no more. So it seems, in terms of a union, right, why not start a strike? Fuck this shit. We're going to change the leadership. Instead of starting a strike, we have, she quit. And so that could be seen as cowardly, but also as a big fucking fuck you to the entire organization. So she was pissed, right? Why didn't you pay attention? Why didn't you listen to her? So I'd like to think that I don't like to think this, but I imagine that politically it would be bad for her, but maybe she just, she'll get a job somewhere else. She's okay with her decision. Some people just have a breaking point, and she says she ain't going to do that shit no more. So whoever it is, I totally stand in solidarity with her. And also the airport. We got jets now. So you have two things. The U.S. Department of Transportation oversees the Essential Air Services program that subsidizes the Pueblo to DIA flights. Announced the decision this week. 2, get a United Express banner jet, 50-passenger jet, providing daily flights between Pueblo Memorial Airport and Denver International Airport. That's exciting shit. That's exciting shit. I mean, it's about a 2 or 3 hour drive. I guess maybe sometimes you might want to take a plane. But the advantage is you go to Denver, then you could go all around the entire fucking world. So that's the advantage of doing that. You could park here, locally in town, get somebody to take you. Just, 10 minutes? So a taxi fucking service. You're helping the industry out. And jets. We got a fucking SkyWest Airlines somehow jumps into this, is the operator of the Pueblo DIA service. I don't know what DIA stands for. SkyWest operated the service from April 2014 through June 2015 using 30-passenger turboprop aircraft under the United Express banner. However, it pulled out before its 2-year contract expired, citing a business decision to retire its fleet of turboprop aircraft and add more 50-seat jets. SkyWest was succeeded by the current... You should have both. They're making bad decisions. I don't know if I like this. SkyWest was succeeded by a current service provider, Great Lakes Airlines, which operates various size turboprop aircraft and put in a bid to continue the service using 19-passenger turboprop airplanes. ADI and Boutique Air also submitted bids. SkyWest contract will begin in December and run for 2 years. Of course, according to the chieftain, Dennis Darrow, he has reported that jet service returns to Pueblo Airport. He's the one that wrote that article. Dennis Darrow. Good article. Updated 7 hours ago. So this is breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Pueblo County Commissioners to hear gravel pit decision appeal. Anthony A. Mestas, the Pueblo chieftain. June 14, 2017, the Pueblo County Commissioners voted unanimously Wednesday to hear an appeal against a permit that allows Fremont Paving and Ready Mix to build a gravel pit operation south of the Bessemer Ditch near Avondale. Bessemer Ditch, south of it. Is that good? Which way does the water run? South? North? What? Commissioners said they need to examine both sides of the issue in more detail. The deadline, July 25th. Often deal with people at municipal court who are hostile, and verbally and physically abusive. Municipal court? The city court. City Council President Steve Noraki said municipal court Judge Carlos Sykes was assaulted earlier this month by a juvenile female. A juvenile female? That's what's starting all this? Probably since the new municipal court judge has been there. She's articulated that there's a certain amount of disorderly conduct within the chambers, and I'm sure there's going to be along for a time. It's going to be going on for a long time over the last couple. Yeah, of course, shit happens. So they're hiring a new marshal. The city council created a municipal court marshal position. So they're getting fascist. They should have already been fascist anyways with Sam Azad. Does Sam Azad know that he's the fucking man? He's the main fascist of Pueblo? He should. If he doesn't, then someone should tell. It's actually going national, apparently, by Ryan Severance. Again, Pueblo Chieftain. They are fucking on this. And I'm clicking all over their pages and shit. I do see a Remax of Pueblo, so, okay. I'm glad they're getting some advertisements. This is brought to you by Remax of Pueblo. If you're needing some Gary Miller Remax agent stuff, go there. All right, so Pueblo's record-setting auto theft problems have been well documented locally, and now national news publication has brought more attention to the issue. Now, Bloomberg News last week published a story identifying the top 10 cities in the United States with the highest per capita rate of vehicle thefts in 2016, and Pueblo was number 2. So we seem to be on the, number 1, right? Why are we number 2? That's the first loser, Pueblo. Fuck these goat heads. Fuck these goat heads. Fucking goat head. Fucking goat head. Fucking goat heads. Ugh. Albuquerque. Basically the goat heads have taken over Albuquerque. Puncture vines. They're attacking everybody. They're attacking kids and animals and adults. They're going after bike tires and soles of shoes and car tires. All tires. All, they're just sticking into everything and everybody. The city of Pueblo has got to start the war on goat heads. We've got to eradicate goat heads. We have an epidemic. This is a parasitic infection. They can lie dormant for 10 years. They grow in the desert, so they can grow anywhere and everywhere in the fucking cracks. I've started seeing little baby ones right now, so they're starting to spread, Pueblo. And basically, let all the fucking weeds grow. Don't let any of these... there was 1,216 cars that were stolen in Pueblo in 2016. That equates to roughly 3 a day and about 102 a month. That number marked a 35% increase from 2015 when there was 899 auto thefts. So basically, everybody's fucking cars are being stolen here. The police are not doing their job. The city council is failing. Pueblo had a rate of approximately 900 auto thefts per 100,000 residents, according to Bloomberg. So this is Albuquerque. This is the connection between Pueblo and Albuquerque. They are being infested with a bunch of fucking goat heads with these puncture vines and a bunch of car thieves. And fuck a thief. Fuck a thief. So if somebody is stealing your car, you have a right to shoot them. Right? They're stealing your fucking car. That's your property. And we have a right to life, liberty, and property. That's like one of the basic tenets of American society. Military said that the U.S. was providing technical assistance to end the siege of Marawi City, Philippines, by fighters allied to Islamic State, which is now in its 3rd week. But it had no boots on the ground. They're not fighting. They're just providing technical support. Now, I don't understand this because they're saying that they have 50 to 100 special forces, but they also say 13 Marines. 13 Marines were killed in urban fighting. U.S. Special Forces have joined the battle to crush Islamist militants holed up in a southern Philippines town, officials said on Saturday, as government forces struggled to make headway and 13 Marines were killed in intense urban fighting. This is CNBC. So that's pretty reputable. 13 Marines. Now, is it the Philippines Marines? And if it's our boys, they're providing technical support, but they just got killed? I don't understand. James Mattis. James Mattis, he's the Secretary of War. So he's the United States Secretary of War. And he's basically saying we need more war. He's saying we need more troops. So this is the military-industrial complex saying we need to escalate even more. And they probably want 1 million or 2 more million troops. We're losing in Afghanistan. So 15 years of war. He says we're not winning in Afghanistan, so losing. And there's an increase now. We're already escalating. So the Taliban are surging at the moment. So therefore, we're going to be surging. So I'd already read another report where it said that the focus on Syria is now in Afghanistan. It's probably on both. He don't even know where Qatar is, but he just made a $12 billion deal with Qatar. He just called them terrorists. Here you go, terrorists. Here's a bunch of to 5,000. No, 3,000 to 5,000 troops. That actually seems very fucking moderate, but that's, I don't know the troop levels. I mean, we don't have a fucking consistent page that tells us what the hell is going on. How many people are getting shot, what wars we're in. We're in like 30 shadow wars in Africa, and then plus, Pakistan and Afghanistan and Iraq, Syria, Yemen. It's a humanitarian fucking disaster there. People are dying there. And we're helping with the airstrikes. We give them a $120 billion deal. We just said Qatar was a fucking terrorist nation. Qatar is a fucking terrorist nation. Right? That's what Donald Trump said. Apparently, Qatar is a terrorist nation, but we got a military base there. And we just made a $12 billion deal for them to make F-15s. The terrorists are going to have F-15s now. Say how many troops we actually have there, but it says that we're under 100,000. So 2,300 Americans have been killed in the Afghanistan war so far. So, 15 years, 2,300 doesn't seem that bad, but is it worth it? 2,300 American lives, and I'm sure countless more Afghanistan people, Afghanis. Is that what we call Afghanistan people? So the Afghan government was assessed by the U.S. military to control or influence just 59.7% of Afghanistan's 407 districts as of February 20th, nearly 11 percentage point decrease from the same time in 2016. We're losing. The Taliban's fucking beating us. The Taliban. 3 U.S. soldiers were killed when an Afghan soldier opened fire on them. So they're having mutiny, open mutiny in their ranks. It's here that Trump gives the U.S. military the authority to set Afghan troop levels. So therefore, James Mattis wants 3,000 to 5,000. So there's an escalation. Yep, more of our boys they're not coming home. We're sending them back overseas. And Afghanistan is the trap, the Afghan trap. It's the tar that empires have got stuck in for many years. Superpowers, empires become cocky, they become arrogant, they make a lot of fucking mistakes. It's very inefficient. And if we're going after the wrong fucking people, let's get out of Iraq and invade Saudi Arabia. I would prefer that instead of antagonizing Iran. Fuck Saudi Arabia. Trump wouldn't do that. He ain't a badass. He probably won't do shit to Kim Jong-un to you. It's overcharging its own armed forces on fuel prices. They use that money to fund the Syrian rebels. So I hope that was the Democratic forces and not the white helmets. I heard the white helmets are terrorists. In the case of Afghanistan, $1.4 billion was allocated to drones and contractors, which most of the time drones kill mostly civilians. I heard like it was 90% like just an overwhelming amount. Hey, did you get the bad guys? No. We did get a bunch of innocents. Oh, thanks Obama. What do you think Trump's going to do? Everything Obama's doing, he's going to fucking make it worse. This is an institution. Republican, Democrat, Republican. We have to depend on Trump to be anti-war. He was against the Iraq war, right? Until he got the gauntlet. Now he's all about the Iraq war. Military.com. 8 militants were killed in Somalia on Sunday. Militants, they were part of the Al-Shabaab. The Al-Shabaab is the Islamic extremist group. They've intensified operations against U.S.-backed forces, cemented its control of southern and central Somalia. This is through AFRICOM. U.S. forces in cooperation with the Somalian government are conducting operations against Al-Shabaab in Somalia to degrade the Al-Qaeda affiliates' ability to recruit, train, and plot external terror attacks throughout the region and in America. This is all about America, of course. You can't. Al-Shabaab was on the defense in recent months. The group has reasserted itself. The group's resurgence comes as African Union forces, which are leading the fight against extremists in the country, plan to begin withdrawing from Somalia next year. AFRICOM was blunt about the group's game. This neat little Al-Shabaab video here on Newsweek. The player is actually running pretty well. Popped right up. Al-Shabaab, Somalia, troop Somalia. So we already had boots on the ground in Somalia. We had that new U.S. Navy SEAL who was killed in Somalia. And we had already been in there for a month. This is not new. We haven't, It's not new because we've already invaded Somalia. We already started a Somalian war, and now he's authorizing airstrikes. So this is the first airstrike that just happened. This is breaking news. I mean, this is just happened, you know, what? Newsweek.com, it says June 12th at 4:40 a.m., and it is now June 15th. So 3 days ago, that 8 of the apparent terrorists, we're told they're terrorists, so don't even question that, right? They killed 8 people. 8 people are dead. That's definite. But were they actual terrorists? We're just supposed to trust them. Hillary was right. They're actually using Donald Trump as propaganda to, you know, the proposed Muslim ban is why Al-Shabaab is able to recruit and hold on to southern and middle Somalia. So we haven't been in Somalia since 1993, the Battle of Mogadishu, the Black Hawk Down War, when Dan Rather was trying to pronounce Mogadishu, and Somali militiamen shot down 2 U.S. Black Hawk helicopters, killing 18 U.S. soldiers. And then Bill Clinton didn't have the stomach for it, and he pulled out. So good for Bill Clinton on pulling out, but this is greasing the wheels, right? So we invaded Somalia. Kyle Milliken, a U.S. Navy SEAL, was just killed this year. So these wars don't ever end. We're back in Somalia now. So Al-Shabaab apparently is taking over. Reuters is reporting that Iraqi armed forces announced progress in the Mosul campaign. Says district north of Old City captured. So that's somewhat promising. Well, now the video plays. Okay. I'm just going to cut out that. I'll look at this video. It looks pretty crystal clear, and it worked at first. U.S. airstrike kills 8 militants in Somalia. Military.com. They're saying AFRICOM did not say what weapon system was used to conduct the strike, but the attack was performed under new authorities approved by the President Donald Trump in March, the Pentagon said, as African Union plots its withdrawal from Somalia after more than a decade of fighting. The U.S. is racing to bolster Somalia's fledgling armed forces. In early May, a U.S. Navy SEAL was killed, right? Kyle Milliken. So say Kyle Milliken. Kyle Milliken's name.